Hi, guys.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Hello. How we doing on this actually not corn sweaty day?
Dare I say it's gorgeous out.
And I think both of us were thrown for a loop because we thought Heath's going to ride his bike today.
I was thrown for the biggest loop. I was literally, I'm not even kidding you. I was turning down 31st Street and I was like, for sure Heath rode his bike today. It's so nice.
Yeah.
And then I came and I saw his car and I was like, what?
What is happening? Like everything we know about the world was torn askew.
Actually, what I was afraid is that I was coming into a broken leg. Or some kind of limb situation, like he broke an arm, like something happened to poor Heath and he couldn't ride his. But it just turns out he's going to take one later.
Yeah, he's preserving himself for his husband, which is nice.
Yeah, I would like to keep you on
way
your
you
toes.
said that sounded.
Keeping yourself tight and new for your husband. Yeah,
That's what he expects.
Yeah, gotta hit the expectations.
that's right. So, what do you think? Should we talk about some gall?
I think so. Yeah.
Would one of you like to take it from here? Oh, there's some eyeing across the table.
So my gall this week is it's a type of person.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
So it's a type of person.
Can we guess? No.
Yeah. Feel free. Feel free. I bet you get some of the characteristics right out of the gate.
Do we got a
Kids.
dogs up guy?
Is a dog's up guy. No, it's a very specific type of person. I find it most in the work arena.
Okay.
And I know that we've previously used like keyboard warrior for like online trolls.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's this new wave coming of people who think that they're effective if they just email a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? Like
Performative emailing.
Performative
Yes.
emailing without checking one single fact.
Yes.
And this week, I just sort of hit my limit. Like,
Yeah.
I literally had to push my chair away and walk around my house for a period of time before I felt calm enough to not just write back, "You're a dummy chicken."
Yeah.
Because I couldn't
Read the fucking email.
I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. This person in particular is arguing with me about their own computer system. And I don't like being in a position where I have to say, that's not how it works. Like, you're not using the system correct. I don't know how to say it. What it came down to was me literally having to say, in the kindest way possible, which I'm not even sure that translated by Friday, which was just like, can you open attachments? Like, as a genuine question, are you capable of opening an attachment? Because this person was confused that my invoice numbers didn't directly correspond to their unit numbers at the property.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
you're telling me that all your vendors number their invoices as like, instead of just whatever invoice number you're on,
Right.
as an invoicing, they label it like unit 317 is their invoice number.
So this woman's expectation is that every vendor, I shouldn't say this woman, this person.
It is.
Okay. This person thinks that every vendor they work with should have an invoice numbering system that matches.
Confused
their
why it wouldn't.
properties.
Why wouldn't it? The invoice should just be the number.
Wow.
So I skipped that conversation. I'm not going to explain to you how invoice numbering works, okay? We're moving past that. We don't have time for it. Because this all started with an accusation on Monday that just said, I don't know how to pay your invoices. They're too vague.
What?
And I thought, well, did the system malfunction? I mean, I did a fair amount of back work on my end before I responded because I was like, did something get messed up?
Sure.
Like, was I,
Yeah.
did I have like the Wi-Fi went out for a minute and it didn't put everything, who knows? There's a
Right,
lot of
yeah.
things, computer systems I didn't assume. So I was like, what? So I went into their system and pulled the invoices and I was like, I can't be any more detailed. Like, I don't know what you want.
You really only need two pieces of information to pay an invoice, right? Like who to make the check out to and how much the check should be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And let's keep in mind that these are not jobs that we're just deciding to do ourselves and putting in there. Like, you ordered this job.
So
you gave
conceivably
me
you have your own records.
PO number.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So you have some sort of knowledge of what this should be, which would lead you to think you open it, go, yep, boop.
How often are there complaints like that and really they're either just not wanting to pay or they're delaying payment?
Usually delaying payment, I just don't get responses. Or they're like, oh, we pay on the 31st day of the second month of December. And you're like, what? That's not even a month, you know? All right. That's when I feel like you're getting the runaround, you know? But no, there's just a fair amount of... I had been on her a little bit, to be fair, because there was a stack. We're behind on some invoices by quite a few days. And I had said on the previous Friday, hey, we just have some outstanding invoices. I've attached them all. Here's a chart. They're all uploaded. I checked. Let me know if you have any questions, if you need anything else from me. And what I got back was, I can't pay your invoices because they're too vague.
Good God.
And that's when I said, well...
Welcome
to the rodeo.
That doesn't mean you don't have to pay them.
No,
you got to figure it out.
Still gotta do it.
Just do the little, and that's what by Wednesday, in the amount of email correspondence we had this week, I said to Mike, I'm like, she's putting me in a position where I'm going to have to say, you're just dumb. Can I talk to someone else?
Yeah.
Like, can we move on? And
may I speak to a smart person, please?
yeah, honestly, you're like, who's your assistant manager? Are they better? Are they moving up?
Someone that knows how to open emails. Is there anyone there?
So then the amount of emails that this person has sent in other situations, it's overwhelming. Like, oof. And my husband is not what I would say on the forefront of tech knowledge.
Okay.
And
technology?
Technology and technology.
I thought she was saying technology too, but then I was like, wait, technology.
Got it. Technology. Yeah. Two separate words. Yeah. Sorry.
So when he gets multiple...
I thought we were doing a new slang. The technology.
I don't have time to say technology.
Yeah. We all know if I fucked that up, I would have stopped him and like, I meant technology. But when he gets a multiple email, like a multiple chain like that, he's out. He's like, why do we have 15 emails about one thing I can't even... Because she'll respond to her own email before you have chances to respond.
God.
So you'll open one email and you got to go back 15 to even understand what she's saying. It's like train of thought.
Take a moment, lady. Come on.
Step away from the keyboard. That's all I'm saying. Step away from the keyboard. And the gall in this is just like, I think... I always operate from a space of like, I want to check everything before I come back and say, no, I did it right.
Right, yeah.
So I'm always surprised by people that are just nailed it.
Yeah.
Did you though?
And then a minute later, like, no, nailed it, but I need to add something.
Yeah.
And then I needed to add something.
I still nailed it, but also I didn't do this part. Okay.
Now I'm nailing it more.
Yeah. Step away for a minute. That's all I'm saying. Take a cookie break. Take a walk.
I think the bigger thing of like performative emailing is such a work thing too. And it's also like when you're sending emails like at night or you're sending emails at certain times where it's like, look how hard I'm working. Look when I'm working, you know. Jan.
I'm so aware of that I had a bunch of stuff going on this week. And so I had a lot of work to catch up on yesterday, so I did it, and I literally scheduled all of the emails, invoices, everything to go out Monday morning, because I was like, I'm not doing, I can't. Right. I don't want people being like, you working on a Saturday? I'm not dealing with it. Like, no. It's going to be a barrage. I mean, I told Mike to be prepared.
Get ready.
Yeah. Oh, well. Sorry, that was a long call.
No, I like that. When you started talking about a certain type of person at work, my first thought was like, ooh, a pasta thief? Because, you know...
True.
Yeah, that's a certain kind of person.
That's a very certain kind of person. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was also. It was funny that Pasta Thief was also. He emailed like that too. Like he would email something out without thinking it through, and then he'd keep responding to the same email. It got to the point. It was just like, you know, you do this, so
stop.
So respond, but don't hit send. Give yourself 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you think of more stuff to add, then go back in and edit your email and don't send it. You know, wait a few more minutes. You know, you got to kind of
keep an email draft going where you collect your thoughts over. Yeah, exactly. I don't like that at all. Well, I've got another type of human, but actually I have two different kinds of gall. One is just a short update that, you know, after we had 9 Inch Nails t-shirt.
Thank God you're going to update this. I was almost going to have this be my gall.
I had another t-shirt comment
a
week later.
This never ends when I'm out with you and you wear a t-shirt. It doesn't stop.
Aaron and I went to get coffee at Shane and Spoke last weekend, and I was wearing a new t-shirt that on the back of it, it says in big letters DEI. And it's this t-shirt that was, like, I thought it was cool because it was created by this, like, New York artist and and it says DEI recruiter, and it's a whole thing, right?
Right.
And I thought, oh, this is kind of cool and clever, and...
It's clever, too, because it looks like DEA, but it's DEI, yeah.
Yes. So we get our coffees, and we sit down, and I think I was so like overcome that I didn't even quite understand everything he was saying. Do you remember what he was saying? He said something like, do you know what that t-shirt, like, is that t-shirt for real?
No, he said, is that really your job?
Yeah. And I was like, is that a job? What?
Because the job thing is what sticks in my head, because I thought, what a weird question to ask about that specifically. And then you said something like, oh, it's a t-shirt or, like, no, I just got it. And he was like, no, he said, first it's your job, and then he came back. Didn't we stop talking? And then he came back to it and was like, oh, no, like, it's a cool t-shirt. I just, like, wondered, because I'm going to, like, a DEI workshop next weekend. And I was like,
oh. Well, at least he's not, like, a Republican who's been told that DEI recruiters are, keeping white men out of jobs.
True. But it got weird because then he was just like, oh, so it's just like a joke shirt. It's just like a funny shirt. And I was like, well, I guess,
Sir, I'm not here with you, but calm the fuck down. Just chill out.
It was weird. It felt like, because then Amy was like, it's not offensive, right? And I'm like, no, it's funny. Like, this guy's making it very weird. And I do think that I will throw one argument in about him, the Republican thing, is what he struck me as was somebody that did vote for Trump, but realizes maybe that's not popular or okay, and is now trying to overcorrect the other way. Because everything kind of else about him, like the way he had everything set up, he had like a weird notebook and we realized he was inserting himself in a lot of people's business. Yeah.
It was a very busy day, and he kept like talking to people as he was in a spot too where people had to come by to get the water and to get and then you went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then
oops, my bad.
And then he was like, so what do you actually do for work? And I was like,
right now it's putting up with your bullshit.
Yes.
That's my unpaid full-time job.
And I think I just said something.
Full-time job is dealing with you at a coffee shop on my day off.
I think I just said, like communications or something. And I was like, what about you? And he's like, oh, I work for MediaCom. I help people get good cable. I was like,
no, you don't. Not that you work for MediaCom.
Sorry. No, it was Google Fiber.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I work for Google Fiber. Like, I give people, I make people's day with their cable. I was like, oh, okay. Come on, guy. Like, what are we doing? And he had stickers all over his laptop, too,
everything
right?
was Google Fiber branded. Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just a weird sales tactic or what he was doing, but
he also had this is a me problem, but he had the whitest tennis shoes on I've ever seen. And there is nothing that brings out the little kid in me more when I see a perfectly white pair of tennis shoes for some reason on a man. I want to step on him.
Well, this guy particularly.
Yeah, because everything was like very pristine. Like,
well, what sucked is my initial thought was like, oh man, maybe this t-shirt is confusing and I shouldn't wear it. And then after talking a little bit, I was like, no, that wasn't me. It was because you said it's another fucking guy. It's like, do you even know what that means?
Yeah. It felt like I'm gonna have a moment where I get to mansplain to you what like she was gonna be like, no, I just bought it at Goodwill. Is it funny?
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you what DEI is because I'm going to a conference next weekend. No, I get it. I bought it on purpose. You dumbass. Also, why are you commenting on people's clothes?
Yeah.
Can you imagine saying to someone, you know what that T-shirt means? I would never. Can you imagine?
No, the only time is like if I see a cool t-shirt, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but that's...
This harkens back to a conversation we had before, but he's the guy at a nudist speech that's like, you should get that mole checked out. And you're like, why are you approaching me with this kind of stuff?
So yeah, apparently I draw these kind of people. I'm going to have to only wear monochrome t-shirts from now on.
I think you wear the t-shirts and we just see how many we get.
That's true.
Because
we'll collect the weirdos. Yeah.
I told her it's a symptom of dogs up. Like we're just all out in the streets wilding out now. We just think this is okay.
Just every time a guy comes up to you and starts, just take your phone out and start recording him and just be like, I just want to show my friends this interaction. And you're like, they'll probably flip out a little bit and then go away.
That's true. That's a good call. Which could then make the interaction even more fun.
Which one, I'd like you to rate them. The 9 Inch Nails guy, the DEI guy. Which one do you think?
The 9 Inch Nails guy, I felt so more confident because I was like, give me questions, guy. I got it.
Yeah.
This time around, I was like, oh no, did I mess up? Did I do something? And so that was a lack of confidence on my part, and I didn't like it.
I get you.
Yeah.
I would rate the 9 Inch Nails guy worse just because he came at it so aggressive. Like,
Yeah.
he was so confident that you didn't know shit about
Yeah.
9 Inch Nails. And
That
I
you
was,
couldn't because you're a woman.
yeah.
Obviously,
Like,
yes.
you would have just obviously worn that because you think it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like,
I
you
just like the
clearly don't know this person
letters.
at all. You
Yeah.
need to sit down.
My other gall is I found out I'm allergic to cats. So that's fun.
Oh, the universe is such a twat.
The universe is a twat.
It is. It's
Yeah,
Come on,
I-
universe.
Get it together.
Yes, I had an allergy test this week and, found out I'm allergic to pretty much everything outside and dust and also cats. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Anyhow, what about you, Heath? What's your goal?
My goal is... stick with me for a minute, because
Okay.
I have to explain it.
Okay.
It's drag brunch.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
All right.
And it's not because I have an issue with drag performers.
Obviously.
I think they are saints. They are talented. They do a lot for society. They do more
Yes.
for society than anyone who's ever asked you about a T-shirt. I'll tell you that.
They do a lot more than any Republican lawmaker ever in the
For
world.
sure,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's, yep.
I like brunch just fine. It's a perfectly wonderful meal to eat.
Sure.
My issue with drag brunch is you have to be stationary to participate. You are sitting at a table, like having some French toast,
Yes.
and you cannot move. I mean, you're not like strapped into your seat, but you're stuck there. Like in a bar, like when a drag queen's performing, they're coming out in the crowd, and you don't want to be a part of that. You can move,
Yeah.
At drag brunch, they're roaming around the restaurant, and you're just there. And if you're not someone who wants to be part of the interaction, you don't really have a choice.
That's a good
Got
point.
it.
If they come up to you,
Yes.
you're sort of,
This is like any sort of the activity meal show
Right.
things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's like Tony and Tina's wedding.
Yes.
That thing.
I've been to that.
Yeah.
We went to one, my husband took me to one called High School Reunion, and I did not know it was an interactive thing, and it was. And they, a couple times, tried to get me to participate, and I said no.
No.
To the actors, and they tried again. I'm like, no means no, ma'am.
Learn about consent.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Have you been to a drag brunch and someone tried to involve you and you're like, sorry, ma'am, no.
Not a drag brunch, but we were in Las Vegas once. We were at a show. We were at a drag show, and the person up on stage, apparently the look on my face made them think I wasn't having fun, and called me out in this room of 250 people. It was like, oh, this guy looks like he's bored. And I just sat there with the same look on my face. I was like, yeah, I mean, kind of now I am. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Come on, man.
yeah.
Don't do that.
So, love drag queens, love brunch. Don't love drag brunch.
I agree.
Yes,
And to be clear again, we love drag queens.
we do.
Yes.
We do. They are not recruiting your children. Only priests and Republicans are doing that.
Correct. Yeah.
They're
Yep.
the only danger
Yeah.
right now. Yes. Agreed. All right. So, should we talk about 1999?
Let's do it.
This is our last episode of season 2.
Party like it's 19.
Yeah. That was a very half-hearted 1999
Yeah.
that you just sang.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I would kind of commit at the beginning, and I was like,
And
oh,
then
I'm
you're
not
like,
feeling
no,
this. And then I was
no.
like, but I already started. Damn it. Oh, what a
So,
metaphor.
recap. Aaron, you talked about Napster. You also and you both talked about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
We did.
I don't remember who brought it up first and discovered that, that you both had done it, but you both talked about it. And then you talked about Lance Armstrong and the Tour de France. Tour de France.
Well, he was a tour de force
He was
until
a
he
tour de
wasn't.
force.
Until he wasn't.
I talked about The Matrix because it was my moment to talk about The
Yeah,
Matrix.
that felt right. Yeah.
I also talked about there was a lion hyena war in 1990.
It was raging.
It
in
was
1999.
raging.
We didn't know.
We didn't know.
I didn't know.
We also didn't know that someone fell into a fire ant mound and lived to tell the tale.
That was also a
That poor
wild
bastard.
thing that you brought. It makes me think, should we start making t-shirts that are more provocative like that for you to wear? Like, did you know about the Lion Hyena War of 1999?
Oh my God. I actually really love that.
Yeah. Did you know
I-
someone fell into a pile of ants and survived?
I survived the Lion Hyena War of 1999, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
I like that a lot. Although
saying.
I will get more a lot. I will get more dogs up.
I know, but I'm wondering
interactions.
if this becomes a regular segment.
That could be. Oh.
Like how Amy was approached in public this week.
I had there's a thing at my job several years ago called High Five Friday. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
They
that
made
sounds
T-shirts.
terrible.
They
Okay.
made T-shirts, and like I would wear it to the gym sometimes. I wouldn't wear it on Fridays intentionally, but whenever I wore it, somebody would always be like, "It's not Friday," and I'm like, "No, it's not."
What?
It's just-
Why? Why would you feel the need to say it?
Yeah.
It's not Friday.
What are we doing? I don't like any of that. Heath, you, as we said, you talked about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You also talked about She's All That, the classic cinema. And you talked about Jerry Falwell's problem with a gay Teletubby.
Oh, Jer.
Because
That
that
was
was
a
the
toughie.
biggest issue in 1995 or 1999. We had lions and hyenas battling it out, but Jerry was like, "No, it's the Teletubbies."
Tinky Winky is a purse. Come on, prayer warriors.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's getting doinked in a hotel room. With
Yeah,
her.
yeah. I like.
I don't know why I use the word doinked. I
I
apologize.
was gonna say
That's probably what Jerry Falwell calls it.
That's what I
Yeah,
felt
probably.
Jerry Falwell,
Yeah.
like Teletubby-ish. Yeah, like it felt like that was.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a word I normally use, just so everyone feels comfortable with
I don't
that.
know. It feels like a word that you should incorporate more into
Yeah.
your vocabulary.
Maybe I will.
Yeah. A T-shirt says "doink."
That's what I'm going to say to people when they come to you. Sit down, you doink.
All right, you want to start us off, Aaron?
Sure. Okay, well, gosh, I guess we'll just go with the happier of the two. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Oh.
the worst of the two.
Oh, okay.
This is the year of JFK Jr.'s death
Yeah.
by plane.
Yeah.
And it was hailed as a tragedy at the time because it happened in July of 1999. He was the pilot of said craft, crashed in the Atlantic Ocean off of Martha's Vineyard. His wife, Carolyn Bissett, and her sister, Lauren Bissett, were also on board and died. The bodies were not recovered until a few days later on July 21st. Everyone at the time, like, this was a huge tragedy. It was everywhere. It was all over the news. It's re-sparked all the rumors about the Kennedy curse, like that there's just this thing that follows that family around. I would argue that there's a lot of questions about whether this was preventable. And really, when you dig into it, I think maybe at the time we maybe shied away from talking about it because, someone died and like people don't
It
want
was
to hear
JFK
it.
Jr.
Is JFK
Yeah.
Jr., right? And he had basically gotten by on his whole life on being JFK Jr. and being charming and all of those things. But my first piece of evidence that this is preventable.
Oh.
John had suffered a severe ankle injury that had him in a cast and on crutches for months. He had literally just gotten the cast off 2 days before and was still on crutches before flying.
Okay.
So that, to me, is a problem, which said that someone made a note after the fact when they were investigating the crash that he would have required help to work the rudders that would be necessary to land or taxi the plane on water.
Fuck.
That's the one. 2, at the time he was rated for visual flying only. So everybody thinks he was a pilot. He was taking pilot lessons. He was not fully certified. He was not like could do whatever.
But he's JFK Jr.
He's JFK Jr. So that means that he was only allowed to fly under conditions that that required not just relying on instruments. Like he could visually see things because it takes a different kind of skill to look at your instruments and know what's happening. And that usually happens when there's a haze or it's dark or whatever. The visibility was very poor that night. At least one other experienced pilot canceled their flight plans, and a bunch of others had moved their flights up so that they would avoid the haze. And he was supposed to take off at 6:30. The flight did not actually depart until 8:38. So delays, 2 hours, all of this stuff. He also did not have the required number of hours yet to take this kind of flight.
Oh my God.
He never received a weather briefing or filed a flight plan with the flight service station, which is a requirement. He's part of that. They say that filing the flight plan really obviously wouldn't cause the crash, but they said that's partially why it was delayed in finding the bodies because no one knew when he was actually supposed to show up at the airport. So it wasn't until like early the next morning that their families were like, they never came. Like, this is strange. Like, they should have been here.
Oh my
And that's when they
gosh.
started looking back and trying to figure out, like, oh shit, I think, he didn't appear anywhere. He's not at any airport. Like, they didn't even know where he was supposed to land, basically.
Yikes.
Problem. Except for the takeoff portion of his flight, Kennedy did not contact any air traffic controllers. During the flight, he never requested help or declared an emergency.
This feels like he just suddenly decided, like, we're gonna fly.
Yes.
And then
Very
he's like,
much
it's fine,
so.
it's fine. I don't need to do any of this.
When the NTSB examined the wreckage, they soon discovered that both of Kennedy's radios had incorrect frequencies selected. So that means that he was not turned into the correct weather station, and he was not tuned into the correct air traffic controller stations to report where he was or to say he was landing or anything like that. So even if he had made it, they were kind of wondering like how he was going to land at the airport successfully because he didn't even have the correct things on his radio.
Good God.
So I kind of like at the time, I remember when this happened,
me too.
like the magazine, all that stuff. And I haven't thought a lot about it until I read a book by Maureen Callahan called Ask Not. And it's all about kind of women that came into a Kennedy's orbit and what happened to them. And she did kind of a deep dive on JFK Jr. specifically and this flight. And he kind of had a pattern up to that point of super reckless behavior of just like someone would tell him no and he'd say, no, I'm going to do it. And that kind of happened at the airport, that he took a vessel that he wasn't supposed to fly. He came in, said, no, this is when I'm flying. He didn't do the proper things. He basically told everyone like, yeah, I have that, even though he didn't have it. His wife did not want to go on this flight. She did not think he should be flying because of his ankle. She thought that they should just take a different mode of transportation. It's why she made her sister come, because she was nervous about flying. And her sister said, well, I'm going to come. She wasn't going to the same wedding that they were going to. They were going to drop her off and then they would continue on to the wedding. But she said, well, I have to go up there anyway. I'll ride with you guys, like make you feel better or whatever. They were like on the rocks. Like their marriage was on the rocks. Like this was sort of like they were combating rumors because he was having all these affairs. And they were supposed to be seen together at this wedding to combat those rumors.
Oh
so
my
there's a ton of stuff from the Bissett family where they just feel sort of, I mean, because they lost both their daughters, sort of at sea about it because they knew all these other problems and all these things were going on. There was rumors that he had been drinking before he took off. Like there's just a lot of factors, but this had been such a pattern of behavior that no one had intervened on. No one ever said no. No one ever said that's a bad idea.
Because he's JFK Jr.
Because he's JFK Jr. Like the magazine that he launched, George had just basically like it was out that it was not viable. It was not going to make it. It was bankrupt no matter how much money he put into it. His mom had sort of said, I'm not putting any more money into it, which is one of the few times that she did sort of stand up and say no. It's a very interesting perspective because I feel like in the media, that just gets sold almost like a tragedy, like Princess Diana. Like, oh my God, we lost these, historical, political figures, and what a tragedy, and everyone's so sad, and like, how could this happen?
And he
to
was like
Kennedy?
the American prince.
Yes,
and
very much so.
Yeah,
but then when you dig down, you're like, well, this is actually entirely preventable, and pretty much falls on his shoulders as responsibility. If anyone has any interest in reading more about that, she does a deep dive into like John F. Kennedy's parents, and so his JFK Jr.'s grandpa, Ted Kennedy, like Robert F. Kennedy has a big part in there, and it is very interesting to see all this from their wives, ex-wives, girlfriends' viewpoints.
Yeah, do they profile the brainworm?
What about the bear?
I mean, kind of in a way, they kind of highlight like
they do talk about RFK Jr.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this. That he really
fucked over his first wife. Yeah, like hardcore, like pretty much caused her death. So
sounds right.
Yeah, it was.
She had a vaccine though, so it was obviously her fault.
Obviously,
yeah.
Obviously her fault. Plus, she loved Fruit Loops, so we all know what happens then. Yeah, it is. That was a fascinating read, but it kind of. I think we all know that like we barely get the real story on most things, but this is one too that like barely scratched the surface of, conspiracy.
Yikes. I remember that though, and that feeling of like, oh, that family's been through so much, But as that book shows, they had their share of fucking shit up. And
Yeah, you start to wonder, is it a curse or is it a pattern of behavior that you pass down from generation to generation that's going to cause this kind of turmoil?
Yeah. Oof. Okay, well, I'm going to take a weird turn.
Good.
And because we know that 1999 had a lot of good movies. A lot of weird movies.
Yeah.
Some of the best movies.
I couldn't even predict where you guys are going, so I just stayed away from movies because there's so many.
And I am going to talk about Being John Malkovich.
Oh, shit.
yeah.
You went weird.
This is a weird movie. And so John Cusack is our main guy, and he's looking rough. He has long, scraggly hair. He is not the John Cusack that we knew and loved in 1999, just so we know. He plays Craig, who is an unemployed puppeteer in New York City. How could you be unemployed, you ask? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's where they make Sesame Street.
Yeah, what?
Just go down to Sesame Street.
Right.
What are you
He's
doing?
obviously just not doing the work to
They
find
were still making Muppets movies.
Yeah. So Craig is married to Lottie, who again is an unrecognizable Cameron Diaz. They managed to make this beautiful, beautiful woman not beautiful in this movie. Craig, because he's unemployed, he finds work as a file clerk for this guy named Dr. Lester. But he finds that his office is on the floor between the 7th and 8th floor. So the elevator has to stop between the floors, and he has to sort of shimmy out and crawl out and get onto this floor where the ceiling is very low.
I forgot that.
And his coworker is Maxine, who is Catherine Keener. And this was sort of her, for me anyway, this was my introduction to her. And she is amazing in everything. So while doing his job, Craig accidentally discovers there's a small hidden door on the floor. And he crawls through it into a tunnel that's like a dirt tunnel. And he finds himself inside the mind of actor John Malkovich. After 15 minutes in the mind of John Malkovich, he is kicked out and he lands on the side of the New Jersey Turnpike. So this is just maybe 15, 20 minutes into the movie. Okay, there's a lot of movie left.
Gonna say this movie, like that's such a highlight. That's what I remembered until you got to that part. I was like, yeah, that's what I remembered.
That's it. Yeah. So he tells Maxine about the door, and she realizes, oh shit, we can sell this experience for a profit. Lottie enters the portal, and she becomes obsessed with it. And Maxine arranges a date with John Malkovich while Lottie is in his mind. And so they sort of have this weird, kinky relationship that starts from there. So at this point, Craig realizes, oh, there's something going on with my wife and this girl Maxine that I'm hot after. And so he locks his wife in a cage and forces her to set up another tryst with Maxine. And he gets into John Malkovich's mind instead so that he can hook up with Maxine. But while he's there, he discovers, oh shit, because I'm a puppeteer, I can control John Malkovich.
Oh.
I don't have to just be in his mind. I can control this summabitch. While all this is happening, the real John Malkovich is feeling a little weird. Like his mind is off. He's losing time. He's losing control. And he confides in his friend, Charlie Sheen, that this is happening. And he's been seeing Maxine, and he becomes sort of suspicious of her. So he follows her to the work building where she and Craig are charging customers to use this portal. And John Malkovich gets into the portal himself and enters. He finds himself in a world where everyone looks like him and says only, Malkovich, Malkovich, Malkovich.
There's highlights of this stick out so much, but like the whole plot together does
bizarre. Not. And after he's kicked out of his own brain, John Malkovich demands that Craig close the portal, but Craig says no. Lottie is freed by her pet chimpanzee.
Thank God.
She confronts, remember that this is all an office from Dr. Lester. Okay.
Yeah.
And this guy is kind of weird. So Lottie goes to Dr. Lester because she wants to be like, what the fuck is happening and what's going on? And he reveals that he is in fact Captain Burton, who has discovered a portal to a vessel body in the late 1800s and constructed the whole building to cover it. And he's obtained immortality by jumping from mind to mind to mind. And each body becomes ripe, gross, on that body's 44th birthday, allowing Dr. Lester, Captain Merton, to take possession.
Okay.
And John Malkovich is nearing his 44th birthday. So it's getting weirder and weirder,
Yeah,
just so we're keeping track.
Yeah, I
Getting
didn't remember that
weirder
part.
and
Oh my
weirder.
gosh.
Yep. Meanwhile, Craig discovers a way to inhabit Malkovich indefinitely. He doesn't get kicked out after 15 minutes. So he lives in John Malkovich for the next 8 months. And he makes John Malkovich into a world-class puppeteer and marries Maxine.
Wow. Okay.
Just giving him a moment so we can all take that in.
Yep, it took me a second.
Because now we got the weird final stuff happening. Okay, we ready?
Yep.
We ready? Okay. It's Malkovich's 44th birthday.
Shit.
Dr. Lester and Lottie kidnap Maxine, and they call to demand that Craig leave John Malkovich's body or they're going to kill Maxine. And he's like, nah, I'm good. So Maxine realized that she's pregnant, and she got pregnant during the time that Lottie was in Malkovich's brain.
Oh.
So she's saying that Lottie is the parent of the child.
Okay.
Is that how that works?
Okay.
So
Sure.
Craig does end up leaving John Malkovich's mind, and it allows Lester and his whole gang of people to enter. Craig then swears to re-enter the portal to take back Malkovich's mind, but it's already occupied. So instead, he gets stuck in the brain of the child. And we jump to 7 years later, and Malkovich has been inhabited by these older people, and he's just living his life. And Craig is in the brain of this 7-year-old girl, and he's watching Maxine and Lottie, who are in love with each other. And he can't control the girl at all. He can just watch. So, Charlie Kaufman wrote this. He was hoping to find a producer, so he sent the script to Francis Ford Coppola, who's like, nah, I'm good. And he passed it on.
That was a weird place to start.
But Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, Mia Coppola, was dating Spike Jonze. So Francis Ford, he's passed it directly to Spike instead of his daughter, which is a weird move to me because Mia is also a director. So Jones first read it in 1996, and he agreed to direct the film by 97, but he reached out to a few producers, including New Line, and they were like, why can't it just be Being Tom Cruise? They wanted a big
Nobody wants to
ass,
see that movie.
They wanted a big ass star instead of John Malkovich. So they wanted the whole movie to change. And Kaufman was like, there's never been another actor. It's always John Malkovich. And he chose Malkovich because he believed there was an enigmatic quality about him that works.
It
So-
works for this movie for
Yeah.
sure.
It
I mean,
sure
he was
does.
dead nuts right. I can't imagine anyone else in that role.
So get this, Spike Jonze flew to Malkovich's home in France, and he gave him this script. And Malkovich was half intrigued and half horrified, but he eventually agreed to star in the film. He did say, either the movie's a bomb and it's got not only my name above the title, but my name in the title, so I'm fucked. Or it does well and I'm just forever associated with this character. It did okay.
Yeah.
But it was nominated in 3 categories at the Oscars,
Oh, okay.
including Best Director, Best Screenplay, and Best Supporting Actress for Catherine Keener. I remember that I didn't see this when it came out, I don't think. I think I saw it on when Netflix still mailed out DVDs. If you remember that.
Yeah.
I think I saw it on one of those. And it was one of those after you watch, you're just like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
What is that?
But it must have been flattering for John Malkovich that
Must have
somebody
been real
wrote
flattering.
a whole movie
Yeah.
It's-
about him like that.
Interesting to find out that he wasn't on to begin with. For some reason in my head, I think I thought Charlie Kaufman and John Malkovich must be friends. Like,
Right.
I wrote this, like they kind of collaborated or something
Right, yeah.
because that's such a risk to
Such
write
a
a
risk.
whole
Right.
script with this. I mean, it centers on this actor in a way
Yeah.
agreeing, and you don't even have that yet.
Yeah.
Right.
And if the actor says
If
no,
the actor says no, then
you're
just,
fucked.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, he never thought of another actor and never had met him or anything. He just decided this is who it is. Anyway, what about you, Heath?
I want to talk about a different movie from 1999. It's probably on the opposite end of the weird spectrum.
Okay, great.
It's called Notting Hill.
I love this movie.
I do too.
Yeah, it came out in May of 1999, and obviously it stars Julia Roberts. She stars as a famous movie star, Anna Scott, and Hugh Grant as anonymous British citizen William Thacker. In the film, Will owns a bookstore in Notting Hill. That's the name of the town. And one day, Anna Scott comes in while she's on a break from filming. She buys a book, but that's all. And shortly after she leaves, Will walks down the street to buy a juice. And after purchasing the juice, as he's walking around the corner with the juice in his hand, he runs into her and spills his juice on her. And that is what they call a meet cute in the romantic comedies. I mean, which isn't really a meet cute. I guess they met a little while earlier. This is a meet again cute. Maybe
but this
is it better?
I don't know. I feel like this is the meet cute.
Yeah, I feel like this is the meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like.
And also, is that a dating tactic to just walk around with a juice and then, run into
I
someone
was
you think
actually
is hot?
thinking that I would feel put off if someone was drinking a juice.
Just out on the street with your juice?
Yeah, I don't know
With their
why.
orange juice?
Yeah, just like for some reason I was thinking those little barrel juices, like an apple juice. I was like, no. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Juice is inside. It's inside liquid.
Yeah.
Sir.
Juice is not a walk around liquid, okay? For some reason, it doesn't feel like an adult liquid either.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I can get away with an orange juice at a breakfast, but I don't know if you can be like walking into a gas station and be like, I'll have a juice.
So there's juice on her shirt. So Will invites Anna into his flat. I'm going to use the
Nice.
English
Look at you.
nomenclature. He invites her in so she can change, and then she kisses him as she's leaving. And so I guess making a mess is her love language. I guess, I don't know. Is that one of the options?
She likes the orange juice. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
I like me a man with orange
I think
juice.
she would fall under acts of service because he came in to clean her shirt.
Yes, good call.
That reveals I know way too much about the five love languages.
Okay, all right.
A little bit later, Anna invites Will to visit her at the hotel where she's doing press for an upcoming movie that she's in. And when he arrives, he's mistaken for a journalist. And when he's asked what publication he writes for, he tells people he's a writer for Horse and Hound magazine. That's just the first thing that pops into his head. And then Will and Anna flirt some more before Anna accompanies Will to his sister's birthday party that evening where she kisses him again. And all his friends are like kind of, a little starstruck, but trying to keep it cool.
It's so funny.
Yeah. The next day, Anna and Will have lunch together and then go back to her hotel room. And when Will arrives, he meets Jeff, who is Anna's American movie star boyfriend, who mistakes him for a hotel employee.
And he's
off,
Alec
Jeff.
Baldwin.
And he's what?
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, that's right.
So heartbroken, Will leaves and spends the next 6 months moping around while his friends send him up on dates with women he has no interest in.
They're just not a, international movie star.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's not going to work, yeah.
So then out of the blue, Anna shows up at Will's house, losing her shit because she needs a place to hide out because the press got a hold of some old nudes of her. She stays for a while and they bond over art before they sleep together. Unfortunately, the next morning, Will's roommate accidentally tips off the press that Anna is at their flat, so she gets pissed and blames Will for telling people before she takes off.
Yep.
So a few more months go by, and Will is miserable the whole time. He hears that Anna is back in Notting Hill to film a movie, and he goes to visit her on the set. She asks him to wait for her while she finishes shooting that day, and while he's waiting, he overhears her talking about him in a dismissive manner to one of the other actors, so he leaves. These people have been lots of ups and downs.
Yeah, so many ups and downs.
Anna finds Will the next day, and Will tells Anna what he heard her say, and she explains that she was downplaying her feelings because she wanted to keep her private life private, and then tells Will that she loves him.
I'm just a girl.
Just a...
In
Right.
front of a boy.
This is when she says, I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her, which is kind of cute there in that moment. It really worked in the commercials and in the trailer and all that stuff, but I feel like lots of young ladies have sort of repeated that over the years and have found very little success with it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't even really work for her here.
No, yeah.
So,
Also feels like a uniquely Julia Roberts thing.
Yeah,
to be
no
able
one
to
else
pull
would
off.
say that.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Catherine Zeta-Jones couldn't pull that off.
No.
Sure can't.
No.
Caroline Ray.
Maybe. So back to I'm just a girl. You're in front of a boy. I'm asking him to love her.
She delivered it like that, too.
That's why you don't love me.
I'm going to say it with my teeth together.
Yeah.
Will tells her that's nice and all, but says that if it didn't work out, he couldn't take the misery. So he turns her down, I guess, choosing to be miserable instead of the possibility of somebody else making that choice for him. Is that how he's going to go? I guess.
Yeah.
Shortly after, Will meets his friends at a restaurant and he tells them what happened. They're supportive because they think that's the right thing to do, but then his roommate tells him he's a dipshit.
Yeah.
Good job, roommate.
Motivated by the accusations of dipshittery, Will goes to a press conference where Anna's promoting a film and explaining that she's leaving town as soon as she possibly can. At the press conference, a reporter asks about Will, and Anna says they're just friends. But when Will arrives, he asks if she'd consider being more than friends if he begged her to forgive him. She says she would, and then she's asked again how long she's planning to stay in town, and she changes her answer to indefinitely. So sweet. Notting Hill was a great big hit, and it set the record for the largest opening weekend ever.
Whoa, really?
For romantic comedy at the time. Yeah.
Dang.
That record only lasted a couple of months, though, until Julia Roberts' other movie from the summer of 1999 opened, Runaway Bride, and that set a new record. So
I forgot about that. That was a good one, too.
big summer for Julia Roberts. The film also opened the same weekend as Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pretty good counter-programming. Obviously, it, set a record that weekend. Good counter-programming also for all the people who either didn't have time to stand in line to get Star Wars for a few weeks, get Star Wars tickets, because that's what you had to do in 1999. And or anyone who maybe had clocked how problematic Jar Jar Binks was in Phantom Menace.
Not me. That weekend I went 3 times. Yeah.
You did, really?
Oh, yeah, I did.
How'd you get tickets 3 times?
I was back here, actually. So it wasn't in Chicago or anything. And so I don't remember if the lines were less or how that worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Is there another movie you've ever gone to 3 times in one weekend?
I think The Matrix I went 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Again, kids. This is before we could, see it just a few months down the road.
Right.
You
No,
know.
yeah, obviously, yeah. Like it's a different thing then to go see it and re-see it, and yeah.
It's a very different experience going to the movies then compared to now.
Yes. Good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
That was a good movie. Yeah.
So Hugh Grant has in the last few years become like a comic legend because he just does not give a shit in his press interviews, and he continually talks about his past movies and how either they suck or this person hates me or whatever. I don't know if he's ever said anything bad about Notting Hill though. Do you know?
Not that I know of. No.
Yeah, not that I know of.
And I think the other thing that's interesting to me about Notting Hill is, Julia Roberts was the biggest movie star in the world in the 90s, and she's still pretty big now. But this character isn't particularly likable through the entire thing. There are times where she's kind of an a-hole, and it was interesting because a lot of people would not have wanted to play that role because they would not want to come on, because she was like that in My Best Friend's Wedding. She was sort of unlikable in that movie. She did some pretty not great stuff in that.
Yeah.
She really did.
I think other actresses maybe would have not have been able to pull off.
Because we still loved her no matter what.
I was gonna say, or is it that she's so uniquely lovable that you kind of look past that? Because when we talked about My Best Friend's Wedding on this podcast, I remember thinking, "Geez, this lady's terrible." But when I watched it when it came out, I never had that feeling of knock it off. The whole time I was just like, "They need to be together."
Yes.
So that must be something unique to her that you just don't outwardly what are you up to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Meg Ryan could try, but I don't know that she'd be successful.
No.
No.
I don't think she was.
She tried in a few things, but
yeah. All right, what do you got next, Erin?
Oh, well, sorry, I was off track there. This is the year that one of my all-time favorite TV shows premiered.
Oh.
And I will tell you that this TV show got me through some dark times.
Okay.
And I have watched it a few times through, which is I'm not a person that watches things a lot, over and over. Something about my attention span doesn't do well with that. So for this one, and there's specific episodes I like to rewatch, but Sopranos debuted on
It debuted,
on January 10th, 1999.
Wow, so you've watched this several times.
Yeah, I've seen it multiple times, and it's... people, I get to that, but I mean, people really credit it with being like one of the first like huge, like
sure.
really, really good dramatic TV shows. I mean, obviously now we have such a plethora because the whole landscape has changed and how you view things and
But
what
this
you
was
put
a big
out.
start of that.
It was a big
Yeah.
start of it. And it was just, it's so, I don't know what it is about it. It's not necessarily the mafia ties for me. I'm not like particularly interested in the mafia or anything. I am from a true crime standpoint sometimes just of how they've gotten away with stuff for so long. But it was more just like how deep they went into the psychological level of some of these things. It was almost like kind of Breaking Bad in a way of like you're seeing someone, how that evolves over time. But it was created by David Chase, and it follows Tony Soprano, who is played by James Gandolfini, a New Jersey mafia boss who suffers from panic attacks. And that's where the whole series opens, is he collapses, he has a panic attack, and it's suggested that he go to therapy. And, like, I can't think of a better pilot to get you gripped
Such a
in.
smart idea.
Yeah, of like a New Jersey mobster having to go to a therapist. So the psychiatrist is Dr. Jennifer Melfi, played by Lorraine Bracco, who encourages him to open up about difficulties in his family life and his criminal life as well. Because at some point they sort of cross a line and she figures out what he does and they kind of have this unspoken agreement. I found it interesting. Edie Falco is the one that plays his wife Carmela, but they actually wanted Lorraine Bracco to play it initially because she was in Goodfellas with a lot of the guys that they brought over for this. And she said, no, that feels like typecasting almost. Like I've already done that. I would like to play the psychiatrist because that feels like a bigger stretch for me.
Smart move.
Yeah.
You did great.
Because that role for her is so iconic. And Edie Falco as Carmela is just
beyond iconic.
It's so perfect. Like it couldn't be more perfect. So the show follows Tony's family, his mafia colleagues, rivals, his wife Carmela, his son and daughter, and Christopher Maltasanti, who's was the other famous actor from there. Yeah, played by Michael Imperioli. So he went on to write a book about it too, which is kind of interesting. But it was greenlit in 1997. But it didn't start premiering until January 1999 and ran through 2007, spanning 6 seasons and 86 episodes. Initially, when David Chase had the idea, he initially thought it was going to be a movie. And his agent said, this feels like a TV show. Like, I think you should flesh it out more.
Smart.
I think probably because how he presented it, he just had a lot of open-ended ideas. You have the psychiatrist. He's got all these family members that are very difficult to deal with. He's also got this criminal enterprise. He's got this idea of overwhelming loyalty, which I think that's what I really like about it too, is that as society's evolved and as, we've started to understand different things about family, we've started to understand that that's an area that maybe none of us are taught a lot of boundaries in or taught a lot about what loyalty actually means. And so it's interesting to watch a mobster who, like that's supposed to be the most important thing, have to make really difficult decisions surrounding his family all the time and have a psychiatrist that a lot of times like, you shouldn't be around those people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chase actually signed a development deal in 1995 and wrote the original pilot script. And he drew actually a lot from his personal life and experiences. He grew up in an Italian-American family in New Jersey. He had a therapist that he based the psychiatrist on. And Tony Soprano's mom, who's an incredibly difficult character in the show, is also based on David Chase's actual mother.
Yikes.
So there's a lot of similarities to his own life. It was now I think we're kind of used to that, right? Like we like our shows to be difficult sometimes. We like to see actual real life scenarios
and anti-heroes.
Think about things differently. And at that time I think it was groundbreaking in the sense that they were putting something on television that people weren't talking about. Like people weren't talking about that the Catholic Church could be corrupt. People weren't talking about,
or therapy that much, really.
Therapy,
Right.
Mental health. They weren't talking about family boundaries and difficult people in your life and all those types of things. So it was it's got the mobster element for sure, but I think the biggest draw to the show, at least for me, is all the other stuff that comes with
I haven't
that.
seen it since it came out. And as you're talking, I'm thinking maybe I need to rewatch it.
I just was... obviously there's going to be stuff that doesn't hold up well. I mean, it's a mobster show, so there's a lot of
Sure.
killing, there's sexual assault, those types of things. So, obviously if you haven't watched it, there's definitely some trigger warnings to be aware
And
of.
some of your favorite people will invariably leave.
They will be deaded.
Yeah. That sounds like the official term
Yes.
for, that.
Deaded. You are deaded.
You are deaded.
Deaded. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, this is, I don't know why. I've just always really liked the show. And I was kind of devastated when James Gandolfini died just because it was such a, he was such a force in this and so
from all accounts,
talented.
it sounds like he was a really good guy.
He
too.
was, everyone that worked with him said he was great to work with. It was a great set to work on. They pulled a ton of people from Goodfellas, Casino, Godfather, different people that had roles like that.
Yeah.
It would, it made some huge stars. I mean, Edie Falco went on to do a bunch of great things after this. But I'll always remember her as Carmela because she just embodied that so perfectly. And I think especially as a female looking at it too, thinking about someone in a marriage like that, in a situation like that, it's a good one. But
And if that's not enough, there was a character named Big Pussy.
facts. Exactly. Facts. And I disagree. I think it's one of the best endings of television.
I thought it was
all time.
great.
The last episode was phenomenal. So
I think a lot of people wanted clarity and they wanted, but
and that's what the whole show wasn't.
yeah, exactly.
It wasn't ever clear cut. So purposeful thing.
I've actually never watched The Sopranos.
Really?
That's a blind spot for me. I should. I guess I don't know. How many episodes did you say there were? 68?
86,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It just
Over
seems
6 seasons.
it seems like a intimidating
It is. Yeah.
number.
Yeah,
Of,
to start from scratch for
Right.
sure.
Right.
But watching it along, it'd be interesting to rewatch it now and, because I was watching week to week and seeing some of the things connecting and
Yeah, I got into it at a weird time in my life and just plowed through it. And then I started it all over again right away. It was just, I don't know, there was just something about it that was, I just really liked it, liked the writing. So,
Well, I've got another movie
All right.
that I really liked that is also super weird.
Oh.
And this one actually is really hard to find. Last night, I tried to find this to rewatch it. Couldn't find it anywhere, and there's actually a reason for it. So, movie is Dogma.
Oh.
And even before it opened, the Catholic League said it was blasphemous.
I
'Cause
remember watching it knowing I was probably going to hell.
Yeah. Those Catholics, they love to have a good time.
But how? I
And-
mean, right? But they should have known. You can't call a movie blasphemous that you haven't seen.
But they did that for The Last Temptation of Christ.
Right, yeah.
They did that is their playbook, right?
I mean, you're
They
also
just-
talking about a group of people who are like, oh, it's Lent, we don't eat meat. But instead, you can come to a Knights of Columbus Hall, eat fried fish, and drink beer because we're definitely fasting.
right. Yeah.
We're just not eating ground beef.
But the Catholics, so convinced it was blasphemous, they had many, many protests, which ended up delaying the release in many countries of this movie. And it led to at least 2 death threats against Kevin Smith.
Oh.
So good stuff.
I feel like he's probably gotten more than that by now.
Yeah. But, the internet was still in its nascent stages. So there was no
True.
Twitter to give the death threats right
I bet more people wrote death threats and just didn't know how to get it out there.
Exactly.
They forgot to hit
Exactly.
send or they forgot to hit
they didn't have an
upload.
address to send
Right,
it to.
yeah.
They didn't have Google to be like, where do I send my death threats?
Yes. But despite all that, Dogma was pretty well received by critics. It grossed $45 million, became the highest grossing movie for Kevin Smith.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
That surprises me.
So, Bartleby and Loki are Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and they are fallen angels, and they were banished from heaven to Wisconsin, as you do.
Seems right.
But then the angels discover a way home. They get an article sent to them about a Cardinal Glick, who is George Carlin, who is rededicating his church in Red Bank, New Jersey, in the new image of Buddy Christ. And it's this Jesus that is happy and he's got his finger guns out and he's like, and he's Buddy Christ. So the idea is that anyone who enters this church during the rededication will receive a plenary indulgence, remitting all sins. Any of that's, is that nomenclature for the Catholics?
I don't know
Okay.
that word
All right.
necessarily, no.
All right.
The Catholics were never going to tell us there's a way to get all of our sins absolved.
Sure.
The only way that they had you was by all your sins.
Good call. Yeah,
You're
you're
a
right.
terrible person. Get to church.
So they've found this loophole, and they want to go to the church, transmute into human form, because apparently that's easy, and then they want to die, and God will have no choice but allow them re-entry into heaven. So this is their plan, and this has been encouraged by the demon Azrael, who's Jason Lee.
Yep, that's a problem.
Yeah. So then we go to Bethany Sloan. She's an abortion clinic counselor, and she still goes to church, and she's in Illinois, and she meets Metatron, who is Alan Rickman, and he's the voice of God. He appears to Bethany in a pillar of fire, and he says if Bartleby and Loki succeed in re-entering heaven, it will overrule the word of God, disprove the fundamental concept of God's omnipotence, and nullify all of existence.
Oh my gosh. So complicated.
So complicated.
So heavy to put on me
I know.
today.
But Bethany gets help. She gets 2 prophets to help her to stop the angels and save the universe, and the 2 prophets are Jay and Silent Bob.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bethany and the prophets are soon joined by Rufus, who is Chris Rock. He's the 13th apostle. And Serendipity, who is Selma Hayek, who is a muse, and she's working in a strip club.
I love the subtext of all of this is like 1999 Kevin Smith could get anybody to do anything.
Anybody to do
Truly,
anything.
right?
Yes.
That is very true.
It's a good point. He was riding high off a lot of things. Clerks, Mallrats. Like he was chasing Amy. He was in a good place right now. So they are taking a train to Red Bank, New Jersey, and Bethany gets drunk and she meets Ben Affleck, who's kind of, cute. So she talks him up and she reveals her mission. And Bartlemy's like, oh, okay. So he tries to kill her.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Silent Bob throws the angels off the train. And Bartleby and Loki now realize what will happen if they follow through this plan. And Loki wants no part of it. He's like, okay, I'm done. And Loki is Matt Damon, remember. And Bartleby is like, no, fuck no. I am angry at God. I want, he loves these fucking humans over us angels. No, I want to do this, even if it kills everyone. So Ben Affleck is angry, and he's ready to do it. In Red Bank, they arrive in Red Bank, and Bethany is asking, like, why am I doing this? Like, why was I called upon to do this? Why can't God just do it and fuck himself? And Metatron says that God's whereabouts are unknown. He disappeared while visiting New Jersey in human form to play skee ball.
Fucking relatable. I love skee ball.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
God loves skee ball.
This is the only game I'll play in an arcade. Love a skee ball.
And it falls to Bethany because she's the last scion, a distant but direct blood relative of Jesus. Jesus himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah. So they race to the church where Bartleby has killed Cardinal Glick, his parishioners, and a bunch of bystanders. And Loki attempts to stop him, but Bartleby kills him as well. And all appears lost. But Jay mentions that there was this guy, John Doe Jersey, who was a man in a coma who'd been beaten up near a skee ball arcade. And Bethany realizes, wait a second. So she and Bob race across the street to the hospital, and they disconnect this coma guy's life support. And it's God. And so Bartleby reaches the church entrance where he confronts God, who comes out in female form, Alanis Morissette.
Yes.
And that was like, I remember thinking, kind of thing when she came out. Because of course. And she doesn't speak, but when she uses her voice, she kills Bartleby. So God gives Bethany a kid, whether she wanted it or not. It's in her belly now. It's a new last scion. And so everybody returns to heaven, and Bethany gets to have this kid that she was getting.
Did she want one? I don't remember if she wanted one or not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And she's an abortion clinic counselor, so that's interesting. Anyway, so that's the movie. And before Kevin began writing Clerks, he actually began writing this movie. And he at first was just calling it God, but then he felt that was inappropriate and maybe, going to cause problems. So he called it Dogma instead. And it didn't help the problems.
But it works better as a title.
It
like
definitely
over
does.
the plot of the movie. Yeah.
So get this. So it is unavailable to stream or purchase digitally because the rights have been owned personally by the Weinsteins in a deal that predated the streaming era. In early 2020, after Harvey was convicted and sentenced to jail, Kevin Smith reportedly contacted Bob Weinstein asking to acquire the rights. Bob is like, no, fuck you. We still have them. So by 2022, Kevin Smith is like, he's made 2 offers. They've turned it down. And he says, my movie about angels is owned by the devil himself.
Mm.
But then last year, the Weinsteins finally sold the rights to the film. And so Kevin Smith, is planning to release it this year in theaters as well as on, digital and streams.
Put it in theaters?
It's coming out in September, actually.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's worth it. I gotta
Yeah.
go see it in
Yeah.
the theater. Yeah.
So, he's got the power now. He's got it back. They're taking it on tour in like 25 cities and to like talk about it and everything. And yeah, they're releasing it in theaters this coming month.
I didn't know that. I'm excited.
What about you, Heath?
Well, I mean, this is not really much of a pivot because, we're talking about God, and I want to talk about Cher. So it's a brief lateral move, I would say.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Cher had a pretty big hit song in 1999 called Believe.
Fucking hate this song.
I love this song.
Maybe because my mom loved it. So I,
Oh.
had to hate it. Yeah.
Okay, that took it out of the wind
yeah.
out of my sails too. Dang it.
The song was actually released very late in 1998, but it was the #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 for all of 1999. Like, it was the
Really?
most popular song of the year.
Dang.
Yeah.
It is like literally the soundtrack to my freshman year of college.
Yeah.
Like, I
that
can think
sounds
of
right.
so many times.
And there was like other songs that were out that year were like, Baby One More Time, No
Yeah.
Scrubs. Like,
Yes.
big songs were out that year.
You're right.
And this was the biggest. Today, the song's released, and everyone kind of, goes to their streaming platform of choice and listens to it 10,000 times.
Yeah.
It's debuts at #1. It's a big hit song, and then 3 weeks later, everyone's kind of forgotten about it. This was more of a slow build. It first charted in December of '98 and didn't make it to the top 40 until the end of January. And it didn't go to #1 until March of 1999, even though it stayed at #1 for 4 weeks. It's still, for just 4 weeks, it was still, like I said, the most popular song for the whole year. The demo for Believe was kind of circulating around. Cher's record company heard it and thought it would be a good song for her, but they mostly only liked the chorus and thought the rest of the song needed some work. So they brought in some new writers who changed some of the lyrics, but during recording, Cher rewrote most of the second verse because she wanted the song to be more empowering. She said the girl could be sad in one verse, but not both verses. And apparently in the original version, she was sad through both of them. So that's how she got to the lyrics. I need time to move on. I need love to feel strong. I'm trying not to read it in the Cher voice.
It's so hard,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm singing it while you're doing
Yeah.
it in my head.
I need time to move on. I need love to feel strong because I've had time to think it through, and maybe I'm too good for you. So
I
that's
love that
right,
line.
right?
Maybe I'm too good for you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Cher did not ask for a songwriting credit at the time, so she made a lot of money on the song, but she would have, had she had the songwriting credit, she would have
Yeah.
made quite a bit more. And Cher, always on the cutting edge of everything, I think. Cher pioneered the use of autotune on Believe, something that hundreds of artists have used and continue to use today. When she performs a song live, she often lip syncs the chorus because you can't really autotune when you're singing live. Her record company didn't like the autotune part and wanted it removed, but she pushed back and insisted that, they keep it in there, which is kind of one of the reasons I think it was a hit, because it was like,
Yeah.
this is it's a new, different sound.
It
right?
sounded
Sounded
different.
unique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounded unique.
She won a Grammy for Best Dance Recording for the song, and it's still the only Grammy she's ever won.
Really?
Which is a tragedy.
That's wild.
How is that possible?
Yep.
I mean, if Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves didn't deserve it.
Where's the love for Half Breed? Someone give Half Breed an award, please.
Oh my god, no, that's in my head. I won't sing that.
Believe is often compared to I Will Survive, as they both kind of have the same message of empowerment and bouncing back from a breakup. And, and the gays love both songs.
Yep.
Didn't they do a mashup of the two at some point? I thought they did like a dance mashup.
Oh, did they? I
I
don't
Will
know.
Survive and Believe, I think, together. Like a disco hit for the clubs.
Oh, yeah.
Clips.
When you open the
That's
club.
where I heard it. I was at the Disco Hit Club. Now I remember.
Yeah, that's right.
When the song went to number 1 in March of 1999, Cher, who was 52 at the time, she became the oldest female artist to get to number 1 in the history of the Billboard chart.
Good.
Get it.
Prior to Cher, Tina Turner held that record as she was 44 when What the Love Got to Do With It went to number 1 in 1984.
Watch yourself, I'm 44. Ancient.
I'm 48, so, yeah.
I kept thinking that when you're talking about John Malkovich. I'm like, I'm 44. I hope
I
someone's
know.
not taking
Yeah,
over my body.
yeah.
Or maybe I want him to. I don't know.
Cher also set the record at the time for the longest gap between number 1 songs on the Hot 100. Her last number 1 was I Got You, Babe, in 1965.
What?
That was her last number 1, was I Got You, Babe?
Yeah, the idea that if I could turn back time, didn't go to number 1.
Where was I if I turned back time? Time. If I could turn back time.
Shocking, because that was everywhere.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
So it was 33 years and 7 months later is when Believe went to number 1.
Dang.
I would have gotten that trivia question wrong.
Have
Yeah.
you seen Cher?
Yes, we saw her she was here in Des Moines.
Yeah, that's
at
what I
Wells
thought.
Fargo, yeah.
How was it?
It was a great show. Like, the costumes were over the top and everything. Still a highlight, though, is at the end she got on this sort of, I don't know, carriage, this thing that was suspended from the ceiling, and it rose up, and it kind of did the perimeter of Wells Fargo Arena while she was singing Believe, like in this huge headdress and stuff. And it was very funny. We talked about Dogma. It was very Christ-like. Like all of these people were just like staring at this bright shining light up in the sky.
Oh my gosh.
We would have done anything she asked.
Yeah, Cher could have started a cult a long time ago, and she did not. So good on her.
I'm sure she started a lot of cults without knowing it.
That's true.
That's true.
She didn't take advantage of her cult.
No, yeah.
I'm trying to think of how old she would have been at the time. I mean, she was probably around 60, but she was put on it was a great show. Cyndi Lauper opened for her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, good. As I said, I hate the song, but good story.
I'm probably going to listen to it on the way home.
Okay, well, you have fun doing that.
I'm going to get you a Believe by Cher t-shirt.
Do you even know what that means? Yeah. I feel like we should start doing that to other people.
Do you even know? Do it to men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I should just like that. Well, he had such nondescript clothing on, but I could have found some brand and been like, did you know that they support slavery? Know what you're up to, but don't like it.
Fuzzy Memories is a Broads and Books production. It's hosted by Heath Smith, Aaron Johnston, and Amy Lee Lillard. Be sure to follow us at Fuzzy Memories Pod on Instagram for clips and highlights. See you next time. I didn't know all of the, the plenary stuff. I didn't know any of that, but I loved the movie because I loved the whole fuck you to religion.
Yeah, the whole message of it is.
But then I also liked that maybe if there's a God, it's Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that part. Yeah.
I remember being surprised that Ben Affleck turned out to be the bad guy. Like, and
yes,
he killed all those people.
It was surprising.
That was not really his how he was known at the time.
I should have known though, because once he turned bad, I thought he was more attractive. As per usual.
I thought that's actually what we were going to say when you said Ben Affleck was angry and going to do it. I was like, I thought you were going to say like he was angry and he's never been more attractive.
He was angry and he was hot and he then killed a bunch of people.
Yeah, that tracks.
That's how I roll.